Alicia's glowing green eyes faded as Ashki and Kiona pressed close. The wolves' steady presence anchored her, pulling her back from the edge of the cavern's power. She blinked, her brown eyes returning, human and startled, and exhaled slowly. Kaya and Tiama appeared from the tree line, relief evident on their faces. "You okay?" Kaya asked. Alicia nodded, crouching to hug Ashki. The wolves relaxed, settling around her like sentinels. Whatever had reached for her in the cavern had been temporarily held at bay. They walked back to the lodge together. Inside, the familiar warmth of the home wrapped around them. Islay glanced up from the stove. "Shoes off. Wash your hands. Dinner's almost ready," she said, nodding toward the boys and Alicia. The smell of bison stew, rich and earthy, filled the room. Alicia, Kaya, and Tiama all obeyed the stern request of Islay to prepare for dinner, each donning proper attire out of respect for the woman who so often met their every need. Before anyone touched their bowls, Islay folded her hands over her own, and the family followed suit. Her voice was soft but carried the weight of the ancestors. "Grand spirits of land, water, and sky, we thank you for this meal. For the earth that gives, the water that nourishes, the fire that warms. For strength to protect, wisdom to guide, and the bonds of family that hold us together. May we eat in peace, and may our hearts remain clear even when the night brings challenges we cannot see." She inclined her head slightly. "Amen?" The family echoed silently, a quiet reverence filling the space before spoons touched bowls. Kaya broke the silence next, a teasing grin on his face. "You were flying tonight." "You saw me?" Alicia asked, frowning slightly. Tiama shook his head. "No, we felt you." Kaya leaned forward. "Like the ground knew you were moving. Fast." Alicia's fingers tightened around her spoon for a second, a faint shiver passing through her. She glanced at the room, normal and warm, and let the moment pass silently. Islay set down a bowl and spoke softly, her voice carrying the calm weight of ancestral wisdom. "When the earth moves beneath your feet," she said, "it is not always the ground that is restless. Sometimes it is the spirit learning how to run." Meadow Grey Elk rested a hand on Tiama's shoulder. "Kindness matters more than speed," he said quietly. "Even when the ground knows who is moving fastest, remember to move gently with each other." The boys nodded, the lesson sinking in as they took their first bites. Finally, Nathaniel entered, the last to sit. The soft glow of lanterns caught the crystal of his glass of blueberry brandy. Every line of him was composed and striking. Tailored dark clothing clung perfectly, showing the effortless authority he carried. His voice rumbled low, deep, bass-filled as it resonated across the room. "My little Waya, the night moves differently for you now," he said, eyes settling on Alicia. "But remember, even the fastest wind must respect the trees it passes." Alicia met his gaze, her pulse still echoing faintly with the cavern's power. She smiled, small and uncertain, and the room seemed to exhale with her. Outside, the night held its secrets, but for now the family sat together, a fragile calm wrapping around them like a soft blanket. The room grew quieter, the only sounds the occasional clink of spoons against bowls. Islay leaned back slightly, resting her hands on the table, and let her voice draw them in. "Do you all remember the story of the first harvest here? Generations ago?" she began, eyes twinkling. "The land was wild then, untamed, and the lake was larger than it is now. My great-grandfather, he was not yet even a man, walked these woods with nothing but courage and a dream. One evening, as the sun sank behind the ridges, he saw a light rising from the water, like a spirit dancing. No one else believed him, but he knew the lake was alive. He returned the next day with offerings of corn and berries, and the lake, it gave back. That night, the wolves came to him for the first time, not as hunters, but as guides." Nathaniel's deep voice rumbled from across the table, low and steady. I have walked these same woods for decades, he said, eyes sweeping the room. I have watched life rise and fall here, as your ancestors did. I have seen wolves appear in moments when danger was near, seen the land respond when respect was given, and watched the lake reflect the past for those willing to see it. That same spirit watches over us today. Alicia felt a shiver, not of fear, but of connection. The cavern, the orbs, the green glow from the night before. It all seemed to hum quietly in response to Nathaniel's words. Ashki and Kiona lay quietly at her feet, almost as if they too were listening. Isle nodded, letting Nathaniel's presence anchor the story. And from that day forward, she continued, we honor the lake, the land, and the creatures that guard it. We offer our thanks, and we tell our stories, so the memory of those who came before never fades. The story lingered, wrapping the table in warmth. Even the night outside seemed to pause, listening. For this moment, the past, the present, and the future existed in fragile harmony. As Isla finished speaking, Kiona lifted her head slightly, amber eyes catching the lantern light. For a moment, the room seemed to hush again, not from silence, but from attention. Alicia felt it first, a quiet presence, older than anything she'd known. The land remembers everything. Kiona's voice flowed into Alicia's mind, soft and flowing like a stream. Every step taken, every offering given. Those who respect it are watched, protected, guided. Those who forget are lost. Alicia blinked, startled, glancing at Nathaniel and the others, but no one else seemed to notice anything different. Yet she knew Kiona had spoken directly to her, her thoughts still tingling from the message. Ashki nudged her gently, grounding her while Kiona lowered her head as if acknowledging that her words had been heard and understood. The story, Isle's great-grandfather, the first harvest, the wolves, and now Kiona's voice, woven together, hung in the warm, firelit room, a bridge between history and the present, between the human and the spirit of the land. As Isle finished speaking, Matto Grey Elk shifted slightly in his chair, his deep voice carrying quietly across the table. I have walked these lands for many seasons, he said, eyes sweeping over the children. I have seen wolves guide those who respect the land, and I have seen what happens when they are ignored. We are part of this place, as much as it is part of us. Never forget that kindness, patience, and respect matter as much as courage and speed. The boys nodded, absorbing the weight of his words. Nathaniel's gaze softened slightly, acknowledging Matto's wisdom. Nathaniel leaned back slightly, his deep voice carrying across the table. Matto? Isle, he began, lifting a brow. How are the horses and the fence along the north pasture? Finished? Matto Grey Elk set his spoon down and nodded. The fence is complete. Strong posts, tight wire, no gaps. And the horses, Nathaniel pressed, his eyes scanning the shadows near the window where the moonlight fell. All of them, Matto said, voice steady. They've been rested, fed, and are ready to return to the north pasture. They're eager, I'd say, though you know how stubborn some of them can be. Nathaniel's lips curved just slightly into a faint smile. Good. Let's not give them a reason to test us. Everything in its place keeps the land safe, and the herd whole. The boys listened quietly, absorbing the tone of calm authority in their father's friend. The conversation grounded the table again, practical matters after the story and the mystical moments, yet still carried the unspoken understanding that this was no ordinary evening. Kaya leaned forward, a proud smile on his face. We finished the north fence this evening. Tiama and I double-checked every post. Nothing loose, no gaps. Tiama nodded in agreement. We also cleared the brush along the edges so the horses won't get tangled. It's ready. Matto Grey Elk's eyes softened with pride. Well done, both of you. That kind of pride keeps the herd safe and the land in balance. Nathaniel's gaze lingered on the boys, impressed. Good work. Responsibility like that, it carries farther than you think. The land notices those who honor it. The boys exchanged satisfied glances, their accomplishment quietly acknowledged by everyone at the table. Even Alicia gave a small smile, feeling the warmth of the moment, grounded after the cavern's chaos. Nathaniel leaned slightly forward, his deep voice calm but commanding. His eyes, still warm, settled on Alicia. And you, Waya, he said, using the term of endearment, did you get the building permit sorted today? Alicia looked up from her bowl, cheeks warming slightly under his gaze. Yes, father, she replied, her tone steady. Everything is in order. The plans were approved this morning. Nathaniel gave a faint nod, satisfied. Good. It's important to keep the land and the work in harmony. Attention to the details will save trouble later. Alicia's lips curved into a small smile, feeling both the weight and care in his words. The moment was brief, but it carried a quiet authority and reassurance all at once. Nathaniel's deep voice carried across the table once more, warm and steady. He lifted his glass of blueberry brandy slightly in a quiet toast. Then we draw a close to a good day, he said, eyes sweeping over the children, Isl and Matto. Rest now, and let the land and the night take care of themselves. Tomorrow, we continue what we started. Together. A soft murmur of agreement passed around the table. The family lowered their spoons, the room settling into a peaceful rhythm. Even the wolves shifted closer to Alicia, sensing the calm that had returned. For a moment, the outside world, the night, the wind, and the shadows beyond the lodge felt distant. Inside, there was warmth, history, and the quiet strength of family. As the family settled into the quiet that followed Nathaniel's toast, a faint green shimmer flickered across the edge of Alicia's vision. She froze, the warmth of the lodge suddenly distant. Ashki and Kiona stiffened at her feet, ears pricked, bodies taut. A soft whisper seemed to curl through the room, just beyond the lantern light, just beyond understanding. A voice so soft it went unnoticed by all, except the wolves and Alicia. Alicia's pulse quickened, and she looked to Nathaniel for reassurance, but the glow was gone before anyone else could see it. The wolves' low growls were the only warning that the night outside held secrets still waiting, unseen. And somewhere deep in the forest, the cavern stirred once more. Thank you for tuning in. If you like the video, please subscribe, hit the like button, and stay tuned for episode 4, The Awakening Beneath the Lake.